Am I going to talk about Reddit? Yes, but not in the Ellen Powell, OMG, she's so stupid and evil kind of way, because she works for a company in the tech industry. Of course she's going to be how she is. They're all a bunch of fucking nerds in the tech industry. Therefore, they believe in nerd things, like, don't say anything bad about anybody. Because, it's the jock's fault that you were socially ostracized, and totally not your own fault. And no, I'm not going to talk about the transracial thing because there's really nothing to say. So, speaking of Reddit, I would like to thank the anti-posi Reddit, or anti-posi Reddit, for bringing these things to my attention. And I thank them because, in part, they've linked to my stuff before. So, they linked to this thread on the Not Safe for Work IMA subreddit. And the title of it is, I, 33-year-old female, am going to be involved in my second gangbang, this time without protection. If you get pregnant, will you keep the baby? Somebody asked her. Yes, without a doubt. Will the guys involved in the gangbang be made aware of that? To which the woman replies, yes, he's being very upfront about the whole thing. However, we have no intention of them ever knowing. Is the pregnancy risk a fetish for you? Interracial? Very much a fetish. Knowing that when they come in me that I may get pregnant is such a turn-on. Last time was interracial, I assume this time will be as well. I know that it's not off limits. Another reply. I don't know how to say that without being judgmental, but okay, the all thing turned both of you on, but there's quite a chance that someone didn't ask anything will be involved a kid. How will you explain to your kid that he was conceived in an unfamiliar way? Oh, it's just unfamiliar. It's not disgusting. It is not a slap in the face to human decency. It's just unfamiliar. How will you handle his or her questions? Again, it's your business, but that's the sort of questions I would ask myself. Take care and have fun. This person has a broken moral compass. This person asking this question. Oh, you just have fun. Have fun. Oh, this kid might have problems, but have fun. To which this woman replied, I know there is a lot to be judgmental about. We have thought about it, and if I were to have a baby that obviously isn't his, we have thought about saying we changed our mind after his vasectomy. Thank you for being kind while asking. Fuck you. Could you also say that you guys wanted a baby and went for a sperm donor but requested to not know who the father was at all? That way, your child was 100% yours. This would not be a lie at all. Best lies are sometimes the truth. Huh, excellent idea. Thank you, kind sir. Now to see if we will need to use it, lol. I just recorded something about how the working classes not attacking each other is stupid. But that's how Karl Marx was right, and his workers will rise up and take over everything. He was kind of right in that respect. Because this is what your working person behave. This is how your working person behaves. Having interracial gangbangs without protection. And they want to have a baby from it. I mean, why else would they go through with it in such a way? Alright. Next one. Found from the same subreddit, anti-posi. Bottoms. Have you ever experienced issues post-bottoming? To be more specific, do you think it's perhaps possible to cause permanent damage to your anus/rectum from bottoming? I have a long history of sexual promiscuity that I'm not particularly proud of, and being a total bottom has not done me any favors. I've lost count as to how many men I've been with, but I'd rather have to guess the number is close to 30, if not more. And none of these men were particularly gentle with me. After a recent heart-wrenching dissolution between a friends with benefits and I've ceased all sexual activity for what has been almost half a year. The timeline is essentially that I started experiencing rectal pain with defecation, followed by difficulty with having a bowel movement and passing gas, followed by noticing a small pinkish reddish sort of mass protruding from my anus. Fearing that I might have some sort of prolapse, I scheduled a few doctor's appointments. One doctor essentially told me that despite my sexual history, it's pretty much impossible for someone my age to have a prolapse. I'm 21. But that just didn't sound right to me. I saw a gastroenterologist who performed an anoscopy and told me that I have very mild internal hemorrhoids that protrude when I strain during a bowel movement. I am known to be a hypochondriac of sorts, so this hemorrhoids issue could be totally unrelated to my past sexual escapades, but I'm wondering if anyone else has experienced any issues down there after being the receptive partner in a guy-on-guy situation. Working people, everyone. Normal people, everyone. Abolish the Hippocratic Oath, by the way, which I assume will become more specific, like, don't judge anybody for abusing their anus on a constant basis. Having more than 30 partners by the age of 21. Don't judge. Don't judge anything because, it's just something you don't do because of, okay. From George Costanza, not the real one, I assume. This is from, Marie Claire, which I guess is a magazine. And again, if you are not convinced that this is how the average person behaves, well, I'm going to attempt to convince you. What's your number? 5 women tally up their sexual score. By Simadar Jackson. Some name. Okay, Carlin Ross, age 37, sex educator. 100. At age 11, I wanted to know what sex felt like, so I broke my own hymen by propping my legs up in front of a mirror and sticking my Barbie doll's leg inside my vagina. I wanted to know firsthand what went on down there. I lost my virginity at age 15, and when I entered college, I quickly racked up 34 partners. I've slept with all types of men, first the smart computer geeks, then I got into the power sex, billionaires, law partners, investment bankers, and senior executives. After that, I loved the starving artists. I've slept with every tax bracket and every race. A 3-year relationship ended when I turned 30, and I embarked on a 2-year party phase. All I wanted to do was be single and free. This is what your average person considers freedom, being a slave to their vices. Continuing. I had tons and tons of one-night stands, and it felt liberating to have sex with no commitment. Can you talk about anything outside of the context of feelings and freedom? Can anything be done outside of these things? That may be liberation, maybe freedom, not a great idea, if this is what it leads to. Continuing. I went to clubs by myself to dance and meet men, attend wild celebrity functions and glamorous exclusive sex parties run by women, just like in the movie Eyes Wide Shut. It was at these parties that my number really shot up. Everyone would dress up in fancy outfits or crazy costumes and drink cocktails. Then at midnight the women would take off their tops and people would have sex in every corner of the room, in front of everyone. I had sex with a woman for the first time at one of these parties. I bet it smelled absolutely horrible in that place. Since then, I've slept with 15 more women. Sex with a woman is softer, slower, and more sensual. Women also take their time kissing, so there's more erotic buildup. Yet, despite my love for women, I don't like the idea of being labeled straight or gay. I consider myself sexual. I'm proud of my number. I had most of my sexual adventures, in my 30s when I could handle them. Looking back, I had no idea what I was doing in my 20s, but now I'm making informed adult decisions. Informed adult decisions. Involving going to orgies. That's an informed adult decision. Right now, I'm dating a wonderful guy who doesn't know what my number is, but he suspects it's high. I'm not sure about marriage because I'm a free spirit and sexuality evolves over time. Who knows about the future? Never say never. Lena Chen, age 23, writer, 30. By the time I started my freshman year at Harvard University, I had already slept with 5 guys. The social scene at college was snobby, so I tried to meet people from other schools. That's when my number started rising. I was sleeping with so many guys that I became a novelty on campus, and some guys started bragging that they had sex with me when they hadn't. In order to keep track of the men, I decided to keep a record. I created a Word document of the men I had slept with, making notes on their sexual prowess and other details of our trysts. When I was a freshman, I had sex with a senior in the Hebrew literature section of Harvard's Widener library. Oy vey. These goyim are getting too brazen. I've always been very frank about the topic of sex. By the way, Rabbi, this is your fault. And in college, I started a blog called Sex and the Ivy, where I began graphically detailing my sexual escapades. When I passed the URL to 4 friends, I had no idea my blog would go viral. The New York Times picked it up, and people called me whore in the Ivy League, Carrie Bradshaw. When my number hit 30, my friends planned to throw me a party and invite all 30 men. But that idea was scrapped when I actually began dating number 30. We are still together 3 years later. While I have no problem with monogamy, I don't believe in marriage. It's great for tax benefits, but I don't need a ring on my finger to feel secure. In fact, if a guy insisted on marrying me, the relationship would be over. Beth, age 23, magazine editor. 0. I was raised Presbyterian, and I'm waiting to have sex until I get married. Wait for it. I've slipped once by giving a guy a blowjob and I totally regret it, but your number's 0. I guess I wanted to try out being someone different. Way to go. I do like going out to bars to meet guys, but if I met someone great, he'd have to understand that sex is off the table, except for sucking dick. I won't even let a guy feel me up, and the only way I'm willing to get physical is by kissing. It's difficult because my decision not to have sex prevents many relationships from even getting off the ground. In fact, my longest relationship was only 4 months, and all we did was kiss. I'm not worried about marrying someone without testing out our sexual chemistry first. In the end, if I'm meant to be with a man, I do believe that everything will fall into place. In a perfect world, I'll marry a virgin. But if he's the right guy for me, it ultimately won't matter. The only thing that pretty much everyone believes in American culture, if not Western civilization in general, is that you shouldn't judge people because, again, I'm not quite sure why, other than, oh, it hurts my feelings. Fuck your feelings. Fuck your whore feelings. They mean nothing. But you can't view anything outside of the context of freedom. Or love. You can use freedom and love to justify pretty much everything. Because no one's minds are allowed to go anywhere else. Why do you think these people, these homophile types, are always like, same love. Love is love. Love knows no gender. Do you realize that love is simply a mechanism that your brain uses to convince yourself that having kids is a good idea, when on paper it really isn't? Because your kid is going to turn out to be a fuckhead. It's a statistical likelihood. Your kid is going to turn out like this. Going to an Ivy League school, where they will find their reputation to be not a great student, a great thinker, anything. Their reputation at this Ivy League school is you're a whore. That's what your kid is going to become. Your kid is going to become grist to the globalist mill. And that's the best case scenario. with regard to what love produces. What else does love produce? Interracial, unprotected sex gangbangs. And writing an editorial on how many people you've slept with in a mainstream publication. That's what love does. And you can tell me that this isn't real love, but that's what these people view it as. Self-love. Oh, this is how we express our love to each other. This is what me and my husband do. Interracial gangbangs. Or the guy that has so much butt sex that his insides are falling out. That he can't shit without bleeding half to death. But that's love. That's how he expresses his love. And if it's not love, well, I feel free when I do it. I feel free when I do it. Freedom and love. That's all anybody cares about. You are not allowed to view anything outside of these two concepts. You're not allowed to justify anything except through freedom and love. No one thinks shit through because, well, if they could think shit through, think about why things are the way they are, the purpose of things, they would deny themselves. Oh, it feels good, but it's killing me. They would deny themselves the things that feel good, but are killing them. Because, life in and of itself, continuing it, whatever, I don't know where I'm going with that. Regardless, nobody thinks about why freedom is a thing. Freedom is a reward for behaving well. Society cannot function if freedom is the end result. Freedom should be a byproduct of a behavior of a large amount of people. Which is why I can't be a libertarian, why I cannot agree with libertarians. You can have freedom if most people can self-regulate. But guess what we have? We have so many people out there whose only purpose in life, whose only goal is to feel good. Feels good, man. You bring this up with anybody. You bring up degenerate behaviors to anybody and they're like, whatever, it feels good. These are the people who need to be placed in labor camps, who need to be placed in prison, but they won't. Because they aren't breaking any laws. But we live in this authoritarian society where you're not allowed to do anything you want. So, love, freedom, and happiness, they are satanic. Satanic concepts. Which is why I agree with the Iranians. America is the great Satan. It reframes every sin as a virtue. Because let's face it, if the founding fathers were born today, they'd all be like these people posting on Reddit. Libertine fucks who would not limit their own behavior. Benjamin Franklin writing about how sex with older women is great, and what else? Thomas Jefferson having slave babies. So let's read more of today's equivalent of the founding fathers. On the Not Safe for Work IMA subreddit. Let's see. I just clicked on the front page of it, and here's what is available. Here are the top threads right now. I am an obese woman who had more one-night stands with guys who have a fat fetish than I can count. That might be a candidate for reading. On the outside, I'm normal, but I've been going downhill sexually since 14. AMA, 24 years old, female. 32-year-old female, former part-time hotel escort. I am a public masturbator, 25-year-old male. 19 female. I've never had an orgasm, but God, do I love sex. I have a fat fetish, and I've dated several obese women in my life. 25 male. My girlfriend and I are into age play. I am a guy that just had a nipple orgasm by accident. 32-year-old female. My husband is on a business trip, so I made this quick video, and now I'm bored with nothing to do, so ask me stuff. I'm not looking at that. I'm a 20-year-old female cam girl, and I met some of my customers IRL. I am a 20-year-old straight girl who's been meeting female prostitutes for 6 months now. I had my first orgy a few days ago. I already looked at that one. 21-year-old male. I love water sports. I, 23-year-old male, met 3 guys from Grindr at the same time. Let's go over to the new tab, because I looked at the hot tab. I don't have to click on any of these titles. I could just read them off. But, yeah, this is what freedom gives you. This is what love gives you. This is what happiness gives you. This is what feeling good gives you. I flashed someone at the pool. Boring. Comparatively. Still degenerate. I am a naughty little Indian girl. I, 22-year-old male, am a bi, ABDL, in a heterosexual relationship. Oh, God. I am a 21-year-old hetero male who enjoys anal masturbation. I, 28-year-old male, would love to try sex with a strap-on. 19, male pregnant and a birth fetishist. Or is that just 19M pregnant? Whatever. It says 19M pregnant. I, 23-year-old male, tried giving my first rim job to my girlfriend, 21, female, AMA. I have been with my girlfriend for over 9 years, and I've been getting cock on the side for about 3 years while with her, AMA. And, you wonder how heterosexual people get AIDS, even though it only happens like 1 in 900 unprotected transmissions, according to some study I found. University study. Yeah, even when sex is unprotected, heterosexual transmission of HIV it's incredibly hard to do, unless of course it's through anal sex, because again, it's an exit, not an entrance. I'm 23-year-old female in an incestuous relationship with my 20-year-old female sister. Ask me anything. What else? I've made men pay to send me dick pics. We are in a polygamous relationship. I, 31-year-old male, helped a friend, female, fulfill her rape fantasy. I, 17-year-old female, am a bi teenager who actually has dreams of becoming a high-end escort. 17-year-old female, I have only been with one man and am considering my dog as my next partner. 17-year-old female, been with one man and is seriously considering her dog as her next partner. Well, hashtag same love. My wife fucks another guy today, AMA. I watched my little sister lose her virginity. I am a cuckold whose wife gave him to her friend this week to be doomed. 18-year-old female. I use babysitting as an excuse to have sex. I cannot say for sure if this is the future we chose. It's the future we have to live with, though. Unless you decide not to behave. Be belligerent towards people if you should encounter them. Because it's real easy to say some, feelings sort of thing on Facebook when you have time to collect your thoughts. But when these people are confronted with a threatening situation, likely they'll shut the fuck up. And if they don't know anything anyway. You could probably predict what they're going to say before they even say it. And what does the average person have to say outside of the context of freedom, choice, love, feelings, feel good? That's all they have to say. They have nothing to say. You have more to say. You have more accurate things to say. Or you think that people's pursuit of cum is a good thing. And if that's the case, why are you listening? Go away. Go watch Lacey Green or the Young Turks, because this isn't for you. So here we are at r/polyamory. Here we go. A bit of a backstory. I'm a 25-year-old male that grew up as a conservative Christian and slowly turned into a liberal agnostic over the last 6 years. I never considered anything except monogamy my entire life because that's what I grew up believing was right. You grew up hearing one man, one woman, and nothing else in my family. And just about every other family, of course, if it's not if it's something other than a Gen X or millennial family, I don't know, maybe the multiple men, multiple women, or multiple men, no women thing is more common, given that millennials are now breeding. Less than 2 months ago, I met a girl online and we instantly connected over dozens of different things. We quickly started talking more and more until we were in communication with each other every day. It's actually really cute, although I could see why things like online and everyday could be red flags. We are both happy and comfortable with each other, and have been exploring the pros and cons of a sexual relationship over a great distance. We live about 4,000 miles apart. Now, to her credit, she was open about polyamory from the start, but it was never something I thought to talk about in depth. Last night she mentioned it to me and it freaked me out. I'm ashamed I acted really selfishly, and I really hurt her feelings and a bit of her trust in me. Boo-hoo. I hurt some whore's feelings. I acted so selfishly to some novelty-seeking... Never mind. I took something she was trying to share with me, something she cared about, and I took it as an attack against my happiness, like she was saying, "You'll never be good enough for me," when in reality she was trying to share a beautiful part of herself with me. Also, everything's beautiful now. Beauty is visceral. It speaks for itself. Beauty isn't something you have to convince yourself of or something you think should be beautiful, but it really isn't. Like these posts from these girls on Tumblr. There's nothing more beautiful than somebody becoming who they are. Well, what if who they are is ugly? Well, that's... Beauty. There is no such thing as beauty. We've killed it by assigning it to shit that doesn't apply. A sunset. That is beautiful. A snowy mountain range. That is beautiful. A forest. That is beautiful. The Mona Lisa. That is beautiful. Beautiful isn't some fucking slut. But no, cum dripping out of an inflamed, beaten up vagina. That's beautiful. You fucking people. The common people. No love, common people. A beautiful part of herself with me. I've apologized ad nauseum, continuing, and while we're still working through a few of the battle wounds, I think we're in a better place over it. We both still care for each other. We both think there's potential in a really special relationship at some point, and we're still moving ahead with plans to meet in a mutually beneficial city over the Christmas holiday to see if what we feel over the internet, texting, Skype, translate into real-life chemistry. So here's the thing. She's an open bisexual, which I think is amazing. There's nothing better than the girl you're crushing on pointing out another attractive woman and telling me to check out her ass. You fucking retard. And she's openly polyamorous. The way she describes it to me, though, is that while being bisexual is a part of her coding, she doesn't feel like she's hard-coded into being polyamorous. And that she has considered being in a permanent, not monogamous relationship before if the right person came along. But I don't necessarily want to corner her into that. If she'd be happy or otherwise, that's just a shitty thing to do to a person, I feel. She doesn't want to lose her identity. Being bisexual is important to her. Look at what people care about. You think they care about anything else other than cum? Of all of the things that could be important to a person, being bisexual, that's so important to her. And she fears that getting into a dedicated mono relationship with a guy labels her as a straight woman, and that she'll lose a part of what makes her tick. I didn't get that at first, but now I understand and I'm even in agreement with her, I think. This guy is so fucking desperate. This is what he's been reduced to. That's assuming that he's had anything from the start. Oh wait, he's from a conservative Christian family. Fuck you, Dad. I'm gonna go be in a polyamorous relationship with a bisexual woman I met on the internet. Yeah, great. That's some improvement right there. That's what fuck you, Dad gets. Now he's an agnostic liberal who's going to be in a internet relationship with a bisexual, polyamorous woman. Wow, it is just so progressive. Just this is what progress is. This is not regression. This is not lowering yourself, lowering your standards. Okay, where did I leave off? Okay, I think this is where I left off. Okay, I'm in agreement with her, I think. And that's why I think at least she's polyamorous. She wants to maintain the entirety of her sexuality, and I think that's beautiful. So I guess what I'm asking for is advice. Before yesterday, I never considered polyamory. But browsing through this sub and reading articles and stories, I'm no longer scared by it. It no longer threatens me that she is poly, but I also don't want to get to December and have her possibly fall for me and then put her in this box where she moves forward in a monogamous relationship and then discovers in 10 years that she isn't happy. I don't want to stifle her. I guess I just want to learn more about polyamory. There was a point in my life that I was closed-minded towards all non-hetero, non-monosexuality. And if so much can change in so little time, relatively speaking, I guess it's possible that this is a thing I could grow to appreciate. If you have to convince yourself of something this thoroughly, it's a bad idea. I'm so sorry for this wall of text. You need to vocalize this. And hopefully find some friends here that can help guide me here. And I'm sorry if anything I said was potentially offensive. Fuck you, I hope you die. What did I say about your potential children statistically becoming this? It's a statistical likelihood that they'll become this. 25-year-old male that grew up as a conservative Christian. Probably has a family, probably has a flawed family, all families are flawed, who just want to try to do their best for their spouse, their children, their family. They just wanted to do their best in the best way they knew how. And look what they created. This is why I'm starting to become more antinatalist. Because on paper, if I were to have a child like this, I would probably want to kill myself for bringing such evil into the world. But that's on paper. Like I said, the love chemicals that happen in your brain, they convince you that certain things are a good idea. Like maintaining a relationship with your child who is in an internet relationship with a bisexual, non-monogamous woman. We live in an age of moral inversion, of human experimentation, where love is quite evil. Because that emotion prevents you from removing evil. So, you all enjoy your love. You all enjoy your freedom. You all enjoy your beauty. Have at it.